I didn't know what to do with them. But after a while, I realized that that was the path God had chosen for me, was to figure out how to heal these people. So now I'm going to talk about what we're really doing when we do this is we're biohacking. We're getting into the body, looking at, now we look at genetics and look at pathways in the body and try to find out where the dysfunction is and then manipulate it with nutrition if at all possible, not just drugs. Now, I'm integrative, so I do use both. But it's funny because we have a name for what I do. You know, I'm a biohacker now and I practice nutrigenomics, so I think it's cool. So why are we doing this? Why LifeVantage? Why did I choose this? And we'll go into that more. But there's been a big shift in nutrigenomics. What I did for years was what we call supplementation. And I still do that, where you give like a vitamin. You're adding something to their nutrition to make them better. And but now what we're doing is we're doing gene activation. Now that we're studying genes, we're learning how to manipulate them, how to turn them on and off, how to optimize these pathways that may be somewhat dysfunctional in our body. So it's a much smarter field, and it's really exciting because I think it's just going to take off in the next decade. The other thing that we found out is what we've been taught all along with the food pyramid, if you guys remember, was, you know, the 5 servings of grains, and then, you know, you worked your way up, and fats were at the very top, and you were supposed to consume very little of them. Well, unbeknownst to most people, that was formed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture because they wanted to sell their grains. It had all to do with economics and nothing to do with health, and they're realizing now that it's exactly backwards. I love this quote: "The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care and the frame and diet, cause and prevention of disease," because that's what I want to do. I want to get people better. So now what we're calling it is you're either being hijacked or you're biohacking. And I'm going to go into some slides after this, because some of you out there may think, I'm not being hijacked. I'm fine. I feel fine. I eat a healthy diet, but you are being hijacked. So that basically means that either physically, emotionally, biochemically, something is trying to destroy you from the outside in. And when we're biohacking, the screen's kind of in the way. I wonder if I can get this up the top, because I can't see all my stuff. Let's see if I can move this up here. And I'll just move it in the middle. I'll just get it off. Hey, you're basically taking control of your own biology, and you're optimizing your genetic potential. You're just trying to be smart about nutrition and health and be the best version of yourself that you can be. And we have better ways of doing it now. All right, so this is giving you an idea of what's happened. Okay, I told you in the early 90s, I was seeing those chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. Well, diabetes has skyrocketed here. If you look at, I think that, yeah, I can't see half of that. No, shoot. All right, I have a touch screen here. Let's go back. I think that's 1994. I'm trying to get the people off of here so I can see my slides, but I don't know how to get them. There we go. Okay, yeah, that was 1994. And then this just goes to 2012, but it is unbelievable. And you would not believe how many drug reps are in every week with diabetic drugs, because this is the biggest area in pharmaceuticals is diabetes. But this is interesting. It shows the chemical production correlates with this rise in diabetes. And this is really interesting because I am very, very against Roundup or glyphosate, and there's reason behind it. The yellow curve here is Roundup use. The top is herbicides. That stayed pretty constant. And insecticides have stayed pretty constant, but you can see the rise in the use of this product. Monsanto created it. They said it was going to be biodegradable, that everything was fine. It's turned out to be probably the most toxic product that's ever been introduced into our soil and our food supply. And corn, cotton, and soy are all GMO manufactured, and they're either sprayed or produce Roundup themselves. It also correlates with the rise in autism. You know, not only do we have those 3 diseases I talked to you about now, but autism, Alzheimer's, all these autoimmune diseases that were rare as hen's teeth are now common, and it's common to see patients with 2 or 3 of these diseases. This is the rise in Alzheimer's. It's horrible. So don't think you're not being hijacked just because you don't feel it. And this also shows, let's see, the glyphosate is the red line on corn. if you can't see that. And then the green line is pre-1993 when this started. So it is a huge problem. And this is the standard American diet. Glyphosate is in our food. If you consume any of these products, and there's far more, they're actually saying now it's getting into our groundwater. And so it's coming even in some of the organic products. But this is what we call SAD, the standard American diet. So when people talk about meat is bad for you, I'm like, that's because they base all of their statistics on people that eat like this, not people that eat healthy meats. This is kind of interesting because this is the intestines, and the little yellow lines in between, if you can see them, are tight junctions where the intestine is very tight. That's our barrier of defense against the environment. And when that gets disrupted, then chemicals, pesticides, bacteria, yeast, fungus can get into our bodies and our bloodstreams where it doesn't belong. And the gut barrier is also like the blood-brain barrier. So whatever you see happening here happens in the blood-brain barrier. So things are getting in our brains that they didn't, a century ago or even probably 50 years ago. And it's quite scary. This is 6 minutes after eating a hamburger that was from a grain-fed cow. And you see at 16 minutes, those tight junctions are completely gone. So it's really, really scary. And even though, you think you're staying away from it, you can't completely. This is what they're saying now about nutrigenomics, that you don't have to be victim to this. You don't have to be hijacked, that we actually can do something. Nutrigenomics is changing the whole face of healthcare. And the funny thing is most people don't even know about it. But this market is expected to reach $17 billion by 2023. That's just not very far from now. So what we're going to talk about tonight, you're going to hear the terms oxidative stress. And that is basically when you're out of balance between free radicals and your body's ability to combat them. Free radicals are necessary in our body because that's how we fight infection. That's how we kill fungus, bacteria, and yeast, what else? Viruses, and they're in our white cells. But too many of them are damaging our cells. And when you damage the cell, then you damage tissue and damage organs. The more pollution, the more other things like glyphosate we're exposed to, the more our oxidative stress increases, and it increases with age. Now over here to the left, you're going to see a little bean-shaped structure that's called the mitochondrion. We're going to talk more about that, but that is what they call an organelle in our cells. That makes 90% of the energy in our body. But as it makes energy, it actually creates more free radicals. It's just a waste product. And free radicals damage our DNA. Mitochondria are actually more susceptible than a lot of things to the free radicals they produce. So it's kind of funny. They make them as a waste product, but then they're destroying themselves in the process of doing that. Here's some other things that's kind of really interesting. I was talking to a cardiologist today about EMF coming off the cell phone towers and off of our phones. When I go through an airport, I refuse to get into the thing that you stand, and do like this, because that is more EMF. And I go and get the pat down, and I instruct the people at TSA. I said, this is a dangerous energy form. Even though it's not killing you right away, it's one more thing our bodies are insulted and exposed to. And just, because it doesn't kill you right away doesn't mean it's safe. For ionized radiation that they used to, do x-rays, the people died because they were exposed to it, because it took, about 20 years before they realized it was causing trouble. But they're already starting. AT&T and Verizon for sure are going to a 5G network, which is going to be hugely powerful. And we've got a lot of people out here that are sick because of this EMF. And they're predicting actually when they go to 5G that a lot of people are going to die. And I was talking to the cardiologist that we're seeing more atrial fibrillation than we have ever seen in our entire career. And I think it's due to this. So I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens to us when everything goes 5G. It's pretty scary. These show you all of the diseases. Now, we've been hearing at our conferences that oxidative stress is behind every disease in some way, shape, or form that we have, because it causes inflammation. Inflammation chronically destroys your organs and then causes disease. So pretty much every system in the body is affected by oxidative stress. So chronic inflammation equals disease. Inflammation is there for a reason. Like if you break an arm, okay, the body's going to bring in inflammation. That's why you swell. But that's a good thing because it's going to heal. But when you have oxidative stress and you bring in inflammation, it doesn't heal anything. It just causes more damage. And so you've got to get control of the oxidative stress, because otherwise you're going to have cellular dysfunction, aging, and disease. Yeah, aging is one of the biggest things, oxidative stress. Like I read that if we did not have oxidative stress, our bodies are designed to live an average of 120 years. And we're not anywhere near close to that. So we're going to talk about Protandim. And this is what has been, this is our company's flagship product. This is what got us on the grid. We've been trying to combat oxidative stress with antioxidants, which is A, B, C, E vitamins. And they're just not getting the job down because they knock out one free radical. So one vitamin C knocks out one free radical, one vitamin E knocks out one free radical. They're one and done. And like I said, I've been hearing about oxidative stress being behind disease for, over 10 years now. And I found out about Protandim at the annual World Congress for Anti-Aging Regenerative Medicine. And I'm very thankful because Dr. Shawn McKee forced herself on me, and I was hanging out with some other cardiologists, some other people in our company, and I was making fun of them because I was like, I can't believe you're getting involved with a network marketing company. You guys are getting brainwashed. You're such suckers. And they were like, no, this is different, and come to the lecture. Well, I was very fortunate that I had an open mind. Well, they would have dragged me there anyway, but I went and heard the lecture, saw the scientific data on this product. And when I heard that it reduced oxidative stress and everybody that takes it on average 40% in just 1 month, I literally almost fell out of my chair. I got chills from the top of my head down the bottom of my feet. And I saw the scientific data, guys. So I knew this product was for real. I knew it was going to work. And I was like, this has been what I've been waiting for. This is going to change everything about my practice, everything about our world that we live in, because now we actually have a way to combat oxidative stress. So I was really excited to get started with it and see what it was going to do with my patients. There was never a question in my mind that it was going to work. Washington University said that NRF2 activation is one of the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventive breakthroughs in the history of medicine, and I have to agree. When they came out with Protandim, they didn't even know that it was a NRF2 or NRF2 activator. All they knew was that it was producing, when you took a pill of this, it was producing enzymes that were knocking out free radicals. And you were knocking out millions every second in every cell. And that's all they knew. But then they found out later that it's activating this pathway called NRF2 in our body. This pathway activates over 500 genes that are our survival genes that keep us healthy. It also detoxifies heavy metals, plastics, all these things that we're being bombarded with. I showed you above. They're coming out of our bodies when you take this on a daily basis. And it's majorly anti-inflammatory. A lot of people are taking the ingredients that are in here individually for inflammation, but this has a much stronger collective action than taking each of these by themselves, because it's a synergy that turns this pathway on. It's an 18-fold increase. It's unbelievable. The other thing that I talked to you about was the mitochondria. This NRF2 activation is involved in helping make new mitochondria and improve their function. And the biggest thing that they're talking about now is autophagy, which is the removal of waste from your body. The body makes waste. Free radicals are part of it, but there's other things, and you have to get rid of that for the cells and the organs to be healthy. And NRF2 is critical in autophagy. So this is some of what I saw at the meeting, were some of the studies that were done and are being done on this product. And up at the top, you see over 20 peer-reviewed journal publications. That is absolutely huge. One of the reasons I was so jaded against network marketing and products were that they come in with a product and they start citing research on what an ingredient in the product does. And I like to pick out glutathione as an example. They would say that their product increased glutathione, and then they would talk about all the wonderful benefits of glutathione, and I'd be like, wait a minute, back up. show me the data on your product that was studied that shows me that your product increases glutathione. And then they would just start talking about what glutathione does. I said, no, I know what glutathione does. Show me that your product does that. Show me the research. And they don't have it. I mean, there's a new company out now with a homeopathic product supposed to increase growth hormone. And I've been approached by multiple people and I say, show me the data that your product increases growth hormone. And I never hear from them again because they don't have it. So I find that very frustrating, but this is validated, peer-reviewed, means almost all the time that it's legitimate research. It made it into major medical journals. Universities studied it that had no financial interest in it. So this is absolutely huge. It's credible research. It's also heavily patented, and that tells you it's something special. You can't get a patent on something unless it does something different, something unique. And this one has 7 patents. The interesting thing is you'll see nutritional supplements that say patent pending. Well, you can apply for a patent. It doesn't mean you're going to get it. And I don't think there are very many nutritional supplements, if any, that actually have patents on them. So this is pretty impressive. And that's important from a business standpoint, which we'll get into later. Now we're going to talk a bit about some of our other products, but the core 4 that we call them is our Vitality Stack. And we actually got an award, a Stevie something award for the Vitality Stack as one of the best new products, because this is a big deal. It's addressing the key areas of health that I deal with every day, and our products are unbelievable. And I recommend this really to all of my patients because, number one, we talked about the NRF2 activator in the blue bottle. That's reducing oxidative stress. Then we're going to talk about our NRF1 activator. That's going to boost our mitochondrial function, improving our energy. We're going to talk about our probiotic and its unique benefits, because you saw how those gap junctions are blown apart. We need to get those tight and sealed so that we have a good defense against the assault that we're dealing with. It also improves our immune function. And then we're going to talk a little about our omega-3 and our heart, how it has heart and brain benefits. Then I'm going to go into our other products. But Protandim NRF1 has been out for a couple of years now. What are the, I said our conferences were focusing on oxidative stress. Well, now they're bringing in mitochondria because they're realizing that mitochondrial dysfunction is one of the main, if not the main, or the mechanism for cancer formation. Because when mitochondria get dysfunctional, the cell will mutate to form energy a different way. So cancer cells function very differently than normal cells as far as the way they produce their energy. So we really want to keep healthy mitochondria to prevent cancer, and that's going to be one of the hottest areas of research. But also, you notice as you age, you don't have the energy that your little 5-year-old does running around. Well, it's because oxidative stress damages our mitochondria and we lose them. We don't replace them as fast as we're losing them, so we lose our energy. So it's real important to make more of them and keep them healthy. Our brain and our hearts have most of them. And, most people will say when you start getting about middle age, oh man, I'm getting a little forgetful. We need to keep those mitochondria healthy. So when you activate NRF1, we are actually increasing the number of our mitochondria and we're helping repair them. Now, we're not as fortunate yet as we were with Protandim. I'll get to that when we get to the business, but we got a free commercial with Protandim NRF2, and all these universities then wanted to study the product. Right now, we're having to pay the universities to study this NRF1, but I believe when the first studies are published, then other universities are going to want to do more research, and it'll get going just like NRF2. Okay, so the Physique probiotic, I was excited when our company came out with a probiotic because that is one of the things I believe everybody needs to be on to keep those tight junctions or gap junctions tight and sealed. I wasn't real impressed when I looked at ours because it only had 6 billion, and we'd been told minimum was 20 billion of live bacteria. And some of the products I use have 900 billion. And the reason is this one has a patented delayed release system called BioTrack that is releasing these bacteria where they need to go. It's interesting because the lactobacterium are lower in the intestine and the lacto are a little bit higher, and it releases them in the right place. So it's amazing. It also has Well-Immune, which is very vital in activating our immune system and the white cells that live in our intestine to help keep the bacteria and the viruses and things from getting inside of our body and our bloodstream. One of the biggest things that I've seen through the years is a lot of food allergies caused by food particles getting past those junctions because they have leaky gut. And you don't want that. The food needs to be absorbed, for energy and nutrition, and doesn't need to be causing allergies. So when you take one of these, guaranteed 60% delivery where it needs to go, where the average probiotic is 4%. Now, if you take it on an empty stomach now, they're saying even 85% you can get down in there. And I bought a few bottles, didn't expect anything, and it was just unbelievable. People coming back in, this is the best thing I've ever had. My stomach's flat again. I don't have gas and my bowels are moving. One lady said she'd had the first normal bowel movement she'd had in 10 years. And believe me, I've used hundreds of probiotics, but consistently I'm getting the best results with this one than any other product that I've used. Now, the latest offering we have is an omega. One of the questions we frequently got asked was, well, what else would I need to take? And we would say, well, an omega-3 fatty acid, because if you have your omegas checked, you're going to most likely be higher. If you're a meat eater, you're going to be high in omega-6s because they're in our meat and they're in most of our products. We have a very low omega-3 in our diet unless you're eating, fish-based salmon regularly, like multiple days a week. The omega-3s are important to help us control our inflammation. They're really important for cardiovascular health and brain health. And so we were I was always adding an omega to the Protandim. So when we came out with an omega, it's very impressive because one, we can trace it to the actual boat it was caught on. We know it's pure. Omega's very scary as far as buying them from a non-reputable company, buying them at a drugstore, or worse yet, at a dollar store, because they can oxidize and actually decrease your lifespan. And they can be full of mercury and some of the awful things that are in the ocean. So you really have to get a quality omega product. And this one is quality, and it's not fishy. It's a citrus flavor. You can actually bite it, and it's got a citrusy flavor. So if you burp anything, and I've had some people who did burp this one, they said, but it's citrus. I can deal with that. So it's wonderful. And it also has some omega-7s, which are important to help with weight control, and they're also good for your heart. Vitamin D in there, great. It's not enough. You need to take a lot more. The reason we didn't get what I would call the amount of vitamin D we need is basically because it has to be an internationally used product, and it has to be consistent with USRDA because it doesn't want any unfounded lawsuits. Okay, so that was the Vitality Stack. That's the core four that I believe strongly in is the minimum people should be taking. But the whole field of nutrigenomics and anti-aging involves much more than this. And you can see what a big industry this is getting. You've got your weight loss products, your smart energy, and people are doing these energy drinks that are actually killing younger kids because they're not healthy. I saw a upcoming medical student was out skiing recently, and he'd had to be hospitalized because of an adrenal collapse because he'd been doing so many energy drinks. So it's kind of scary. Everybody's looking for more energy, but looking for it the wrong way. Pet care. You'd be surprised how much money people will spend on their pets, but won't spend it on themselves. And then, of course, the skincare and the anti-aging industry. So this is a big industry, and it's only growing. So LifeVantage isn't just about NRF2 activation. We're about biohacking the body and nutrigenomics, and we want to be the leader in this industry, and we are the leader, and we want to stay the leader. So this is all the products if you want to biohack your whole system, and I'm going to go in briefly to some of the other products that we have. All right, so the True Science Beauty System is unbelievable. Unfortunately, the FDA won't allow me to say some of the things that our product does, but you can do the research by itself. It's patented. That'll tell you something, that it does something unique that other skincares have not been able to prove that they do. But what you can see is it improves the appearance of the skin, and the aging look of the skin. And it does provide protection against environmental assault. So I urge you to look at the research yourself and dig deeper into what this product does. Now, I was skeptical when I first started this. I got my pack and it had True Science, and I didn't start it because I had a beauty system that had stem cells and I was very pleased with what I was using. But Dr. McKee kept bothering me, telling me to try it, and I said, fine, I'll try it. And so I figured I'd give it up after a week. Well, within 4 days, my patients were commenting on the quality of my skin. And then I decided I'd stay on it longer then because they were complimenting me. And then a month later, somebody came in and said, I saw you a month ago. You've done something to your face. Don't lie to me. I know you did something. Tell me what you did. And I was like, wow. So then I started looking at the research and was blown away. But this is clearly an industry first. It's a unique product. I don't use any other skincare now. It's unbelievable. This Axio is our answer to the energy drink. It's using a Nerf2 activators. And we've done studies on this. And so these statements here, it does improve your mental endurance, your mental acuity, concentration, memory, reduces the brain fog. I just love this. I use it in the morning after I work out because it helps my muscles recover and my brain recover, and I don't go to work tired anymore. And then I use one in the afternoon because you start getting that kind of slow down in your brain. And I'm dealing with complicated patients all day, and it's amazing how it just jump starts my brain again. So I'm kind of an addict, as most distributors are, to this stuff, and it's wonderful. Pet Tandem is amazing. I urge you to get online and look at YouTube and some of the videos you can put. I would probably put Pro Tandem. You could do Pet Tandem, but look at some of the videos of the horses and the animals, primarily dogs. And they call it Pet Tandem for dogs, but it does work for cats. I take it and use a potato peeler and put it in my cat's food. And it is based by weight, so a lot of people with heavy dogs or horses will choose to give them the regular human product. I like this one, though, because it has the omegas added to it, which is really nice, and it has some glucosamine in there. So as your animals get older and get arthritic, it really, really helps them. The videos are amazing. You have to remember that dogs have 7 to 10 times the increased oxidative stress we do. That's why they don't live as long. But I've had my 14-year-old lab on this now. Well, I guess I've been with this company for 4 years. Unbelievable. And she recently lost her hearing, which is, I guess, a common thing in these older dogs. So I just upped her dose, tripled it, and she's starting to get her hearing back. So it's pretty fun. This is our physique weight management system, which the probiotic is part of it that I talked about. And that's real important because you can't lose weight if you don't have a healthy intestinal gut or microbiome. So that's the first thing that you have to do. And a lot of weight loss systems ignore that part, but you're never going to be able to stay lean if you don't correct your microbiome, because if you're eating a lot of sugar, you're cultivating bacteria that are going to make you crave sugar and make you want it. And so you're not going to be successful. We have a fat burn that's very impressive. And there's studies to show it does actually burn your fat in the right places. But you can see some of the ingredients. I want to keep going so we can get to the business. Now, this is our latest offering, which is True Science Hair Care. Unbelievable. And I'm just going to show you some pictures. I've used salon products probably for, 20, 30 years, and I've never had anything that's done the things to my hair that this has. But you can see starting out just with managing, and that's one thing about living in Florida. I mean, we have a lot of humidity, we have changes in weather, and from day to day, I just never know. Am I going to have a good hair day, a bad hair day, ponytails, whatever. I don't have bad hair days anymore. It's unbelievable. It doesn't matter what the weather is. My hair behaves. And this is what I think is just going to blow this company up, because there's an ingredient in it that was just approved for use in the U.S., and it's all natural. If you want to look up the study, it's HAIRGENYL, and that'll take you right to the study. But it actually improves the appearance of, I have to say the word appearance, of denser, thicker hair. But I've got tons more pictures, but this is real impressive. The guy over here that was almost bald. So that shows you there's dormant follicles there. They're not all dead, and the hair can come back given the right nourishment. So basically, you can come into our company just as a preferred customer, and you got to pick your level of biohacking. What's affordable, what's reasonable. Of course, I believe strongly in the Vitality stack, but at minimum, you want to get on at least NRF2 activation. But the NRF1 and the NRF2, it's like they accelerate each other, because the NRF2 needs the mitochondria to work, and mitochondria need the NRF2 to protect it from damage from itself. So when you're on those two together, it accelerates people's recovery. It accelerates the way they feel. When it first came out, I was scared because I'd seen a lot of detox when I'd start Protandim NRF2, because you're getting some powerful, awful things out of your body like mercury and arsenic, and people don't always feel real good when the body's detoxing. But when I added NRF1, it gave the body the energy it needed and improved that autophagy pathway so that people were able to detox without all those symptoms. And so I don't like using NRF2 by itself. I really, at minimum, feel like you need to be on both of those together. So we're going to go a little bit into the company. When we started in 2003, when this was discovered, there was a major scientist, Dr. Joe McCord, that was able to prove that this product was different. He was able to get the patents on it. And he was the discoverer of the free radical killer, basically superoxide dismutase, or SOD. And he was looking for a way to improve production of SOD, and was able to prove that this product did do that. ABC Primetime News got wind of it and wanted to come in and prove that this company was full of hype, and it wasn't true. And so you have got to watch this video. You can find it on YouTube, where John Quinones comes in, tries to prove this doesn't work, comes back. He was supposed to come back in a month for his blood test. He came back in 12 days, and he'd already dropped his oxidative stress by 45%. And by the way, he's still on it, and he looks way better than he was before. So that's the commercial that launched the business. When that aired, the phones were ringing off the hook. There were 6 scientists and a secretary. They had no production, and they couldn't answer these phone calls. They did answer the calls from the universities. They provided the universities with product, and that's how all the studies began back in 2005. Peer-reviewed studies take a really long time to come out, and that's why now they're boom, boom, boom. We're starting to get the results of them. One of the biggest studies was released in 2016 that showed, it was done by the National Institutes on Aging, that showed that that Protandim NRF2 is the only nutritional supplement study that extended median lifespan in mice. And that is huge, because they've studied a lot of products, and this is the only one. And you'll see in that video them talking about starting experiments with mice on lifespan, but it took that long to get the study out. So this was all great. That launched, and it's funny because people go, "What if this is so great? Why doesn't anybody know about it?" Well, Dr. McCord was a scientist, and this was a small little company. They got production up, but it took them a while, and by the time they did, everybody forgot about the video. Also, Hurricane Katrina hit. Attention was focused elsewhere, and it just kind of dwindled. The only people that were really taking it were people that had seen that video, and people that had autistic kids, because they were finding out that it was really helping, and some people with multiple sclerosis. So it was, kind of word of mouth, but it was in retail stores. But you can imagine then, because I know everybody thought I was a quack back in the 90s. Nutrigenomics was unheard of, and it was just way ahead of its time. And this product sat on the shelves. It was probably priced higher than the other vitamin C or A or whatever else people were buying, and they didn't understand oxidative stress. So basically, long and short of it, they were failing miserably at retail. Dr. McCord advertised this product in medical journals. Medical journals are all about pharmaceuticals. They don't want to hear about natural products. So it was just funny. And I tell people, it was so far removed from reality that Oprah had called wanting to do a special on it, and he didn't call her back because he didn't know who Oprah was. So I think that's pretty funny. But anyway, so the company was going to go down. They brought in a consultant and told them they just needed to restructure. They needed to go network marketing or direct sales, which you just remove the advertising, all of that overhead from it. And basically, I'm telling you about it. And then you're going to find out about it and tell somebody else. And that's actually the best way for a product to do well is people giving it positive reviews. The company's publicly traded, which I think is absolutely huge. Private companies can hide a lot, and they don't. Well, anyway, it's just transparent when you're publicly traded. So everything we do is available for people, and I love that. I think that just adds an air of credibility that most companies don't have. In fact, it's kind of scary because I have a patient that was involved in a company years ago, and they were making a lot of money doing a lot of infomercials, and the FDA came in and cracked down on them. And it turned out that the independent lab that they had contracted to study their product had fudged the data. They were being paid, and they figured they were going to give the company what it wanted to hear, even though it wasn't true. And that's scary. That's why peer-reviewed studies that are done by universities are so important, because you don't know what goes on privately. So, and it's just a big deal. All right. So the other thing that's really interesting is that we have an incredible leadership team now. When the company started and went this way, they didn't have leadership that really understood the industry of network marketing. And now we do. We've built in the best people with the best track record, and our company's really growing. I believe this slide is kind of old because they've got, oh shoot, they've got us down low here early. We've moved further along this curve. Now when you hit that momentum, that's where 80% of the income in a company's lifetime is made. And then you get up to stabilization. So if you get involved in our company from a business standpoint, this is a real chance to make some serious money, because this company has passed the startup stage. They've shown stability. You can look at LFVN and see what our stock is doing. People are taking notice now because we are leading the field of nutrigenomics. So it's really exciting, because most people don't have a chance to be a part of a company when it goes through this growth phase. The other thing that I think is really important in today's economy is you can't depend on a single income. Most are dual income households, but even that, job stability is not great. I mean, we had Gulf Power down here was just bought by another company, and a lot of people are having to take early retirements. They're getting laid off. I mean, it's a scary situation out there. So you need to have a plan B and maybe a plan C. And the economy has completely changed how we do business. One of our biggest retailers in sporting goods around here has gone to online because the big companies, they can't compete with them. You know, Amazon has just changed retail tremendously. Uber's about run taxi cabs out of business. It's going to be interesting with Airbnb and hotels and see how they compete. But, you know, and everybody's advertising on Facebook now. You know, advertising in print doesn't get you anywhere. It's just, business is different, and you got to learn how to do it. This is what, when you are in a traditional job, you know, you learn for the first 20 years, you work the next 40 to 50 and earn your money. And then you're lucky if you don't die of a disease when you retire, or have to retire early because you have a disease, and actually get to enjoy your retirement and not spending it in a nursing home. So that really stinks. When you do network marketing, you have your learning curve, but you actually get to earn money. You get what we call residual income, and you can actually live your life. So it's a whole different way of doing business. And the interesting thing is, for most of us, we still stay at a traditional job while we're building this on the side. And eventually, I think most of us hope to be able to, well, I'm going to still practice medicine, but I would like to cut back a little bit. Now, for those network marketing skeptics, which I was one, because I've seen several companies come and go. They're set up just to make the people at the top a lot of money, and they're set up to fold. And I've been in some that you didn't make any money, that your upline or the people that started it made the money. This is very different. Again, remember, we're publicly traded, but the industry as a whole is growing exponentially because people are tired of being told what to do, tired of jobs they hate. They're finding a passion in being able to work from home and actually have a life. Our company is expanding rapidly worldwide. That's a big deal because you can earn money globally. The other part that I love about this company, and it's getting better all the time, is that there is a proven system of how to do this business. Now, you hear people say, I signed up and I didn't make any money. Well, they probably didn't follow the system, because if you follow the system, learn it, and do it, you're going to make some money. You wouldn't start another job without going through training. It's the same way with this. You've got to train and you've got to learn how to do it. But our company is also trying to lead the field in technology. And so they're always updating our apps and how to do things on our phone, because remember, it's a new gig economy. Everybody does things on their phones. We have a back office that you will do most of your business in, and you can pull that up on your phone. We have a way for customers you can send them cards, they can check out. They've tried to pattern it very similar to what Amazon does and make the process very smooth or friction-free. And then other people that are looking at, well, how am I going to make money? One of the things I don't know how many people know anything about network marketing, but I know one of the things is I've been in them is to stay away from are what they call binary systems, because you don't make any money until you get a second leg, and you make money off your weak leg. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this, but basically you are just signing up customers and other people who want to grow the business, and you're paid commission on their sales, and you're paid very well. Like, for instance, the first month, you get 30 to 40% off of what your people do the first month they're in the business. The biggest thing I just want to go into here is that once you hit, there's about 12 levels, but the first 10, when you hit level 7, you're going to see here, you share in company profits. So at level 7, you're going to get 1%. At 1% that's split. Then you've got, 4% is split over these 4 groups. But when you get to 8, that's 2%, 9, 3%. That is huge. And you also automatically get this generational matching bonus. So your income just jumps. And so the big rush is for everybody to get to the elite level, which is 7, because the average, I think that's the next slide, the average income of an Elite Pro 7 is now $11,000 a month. And most people can walk away from whatever they were doing. They found their financial independence. And for that's huge, because you can spend time with your kids, you can travel, you can do whatever you want and still make money. You can go to sleep at night and you're making money globally. And one of the things I think is real important too is in traditional business, you'll hear this term pyramid scheme. Well, traditional business is a pyramid. You have a CEO, you have a COO, a CFO, and some other C's. But the further you get down in this pyramid, the less money you make. And it's usually the top 4 or 5 in a company that make all of the money. Here you can see over here on the right that 40% of the company's income is actually paid to just distributors, and less than 1% is paid to the people at the top of the company. Now, they're making a lot of money a month, but the company pays fair and pays you for your efforts. This is another one of my most favorite parts of the company. I've never worked with a company that actually has the ethics. I mean, most big businesses have terrible ethics. This company's different. I mean, they really care about people. They care about helping. And these are some of the projects that they are participating in now or have. I have gone 2 times now to Mexico, where we're building houses and we're working with families, helping families. It's been a life-changing experience. And this is a 501(c) part of our company. Just unbelievable. And you have to go to one of our events and actually meet these people. Like, we have an event coming up in February, and I can't wait to go, because every day you deal with situations and people that are not optimistic, and they bring you down, and you get around LifeVantage people and they just make you feel so good, because everybody is good and they really care about people. And it's just been a wonderful experience. one of the things too that was a big surprise to me about this company was how much personal growth and development that you get. We go to these conferences and we get world-renowned speakers that come, and at a fraction of the cost that it would come to see, cost to see them later. And it's been wonderful. So basically, when you want to get involved in the company, you just talk to the person who invited you to this video about how to get the products, and they can help you do that. If you're interested in the business, then you need to talk to the person more about the business. There's 2 main packs that I would suggest that you come in, depending on your goals, and what your resources are now. But you're going to grow faster if you come in the platinum pack, and you're going to also have all of the products and tickets to our event. So I think that's all I'm going to say tonight, and open it up for questions. You're going to have to unmute yourself there.
Myself here. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to...
Let me get me back on full screen. Let's see. I'll just quit sharing there. There we go.
There you go.
Doctor, I have a question for you. We take our Protandim in the morning when we first get up. I'm sorry, our probiotic. And then we take our Nerf 1 and Nerf 2 when we're having breakfast. How do you do your Nerf 1, your Nerf 2, and your probiotics?
Well,
how do you recommend it?
Probiotic is, you're going to get more if you do take it on an empty stomach. Problem is, I'm usually not coordinated enough to do that in the morning. I'm trying to. I take thyroid in the morning, and I've been taking it with the thyroid, if I remember. And that's great, because then I know that I'm actually getting more of it down into my intestine. But if I forget, I take the entire Vitality stack with breakfast. But I do take an additional Nerf 2, and I've been taking additional omegas at night when I go to bed. And then if I need any other supplements during the day, I kind of take them midday. The Protandim NRF2 can't be taken near antioxidants, because when you're trying to turn that pathway on, and there's like a thermostat in the body, a chemostat, and if it sees antioxidants at a good level, it's not going to turn the pathway on, or it's going to turn it off. So one of the things that we've been doing in exercise is, when you exercise, you've damaged your muscle and you need to repair it. Well, the body naturally turns on NRF2 to help repair that muscle. Well, most of the products that have been sold and that we've been doing to recover after exercise are full of antioxidants. So we're actually weakening our body's ability to repair. And so I tell people, you may still need to take a vitamin because maybe your diet's not so good. You need other nutrients. You don't want to take it ideally within 8 hours of Protandim, which can make it difficult, because when you turn on that switch, Protandim's active for about 8 hours, and then the body turns it off. So that's one of the reasons I take an additional one at night, because I know I'm going to sleep and I'm not going to take anything else. So I know it's going to get full 8 hours. Plus, I had arthritis before I started this product, and it's taken away all my symptoms. How's that? So, but I feel like for me, I need more than one a day. But you can take Vitality Stack all together in the morning, and I do that most of the time.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? We're just excited about your expertise in sharing with us. Lita.
Yes, I have a question. I have customers who tell me that they get very tired when they take the NRF1 and NRF2 during the day, and I don't know what to tell them.
I would tell them to take it, make sure they still have something on their stomach, because the Nerf 2s absorb better with food, but just take it before they go to bed. And generally, that tiredness will go away. The body's doing an awful lot of work when you start those two. And you can think of like children when they hit a growth spurt, that they do a lot of sleeping, taking a lot of naps, because the body needs that rest to repair and regenerate. And so if somebody's body's pretty toxic or has a lot to do, they're going to be more tired while the body does its repair. And so you can tell them that that's kind of what's going on. Sometimes if you take more NRF1, then the fatigue will disappear because they just need more help from the mitochondria to get the work done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi.
I was wondering if taking calcium supplements interfere with the NRF2 and NRF1, and when you should.
No, it shouldn't. There's actually a little bit of calcium in the NRF2 kind of as a binder. So I've been taking it with it. Yeah, it's not an antioxidant, and so it doesn't really interfere.
So you shouldn't take like your vitamin C, or how about L-lysine? Because I usually take a vitamin C with L-lysine. So I should take that either at night, opposite of.
Yeah. L-lysine in itself won't interfere with the NRF2, but the C would.
Yeah. Well, I take that because of Linus Pauling's theory about heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's kind of a tough one because vitamin C, has been really good, and there's good studies on it. But at the same time, that turns off NRF2, and NRF2 is a much more powerful pathway. And there's been data on antioxidants actually increasing your risk of cancer. And I always thought they were faulty studies. But now that I understand the way NRF2 works, I can see why if you're taking a lot of antioxidants, then your NRF2 is never working. And it's so much more powerful that that's not really a good thing. So if you're going to do the C, and I still use it as an oxidant actually for people with cancer, but you're better off to take it, at least 8 hours away from the NRF2.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we have a question. Can you share a bit about MTHFR and how you counsel your patients who have this problematic gene allele?
Yeah, you guys got to watch my videos. Let's put a couple out there. They're on YouTube. But yeah, when you have the MTHFR, you're going to inherently have more oxidative stress because your body isn't able to remove toxins like somebody that doesn't have it. And you're usually deficient in your nervous system and your immune system of adequate levels of B12 and folate. So what I was doing prior to having the Vitality Stack, and this was kind of just figuring things out on my own. There was some guidance when I started working with MTHFR, but there wasn't a lot. Most of it was coming from a PhD, not an MD. But anyway, so what I was doing was giving, the B12 and the folate and mitochondrial support, the best stuff that we had, doing CoQ10, maybe NAD, acetyl L-carnitine, and I was getting results. But when I started doing Protandim NRF2, and then especially when I started Protandim NRF1, I started all together because one of the problems when you start treating the methylation pathways, the body then starts to try to dump toxins because it's been storing them up. Well, a lot of times there's choke points like with autophagy and the body can't get it. It's like it's trying to bag up the trash, but then it can't get it outside the body and can't, So when I supported the detox with the Protandim NRF2 and the NRF1 to help with autophagy, it's just like people get better so much faster and they don't have near the side effects that they did when I just did things kind of piecemeal and adding one thing at a time. So it's better to do it all at once.
Great. Do we have other questions?
Hey, Dr. Viglione, David Meisner in Kansas City. I just want to thank you for a very thorough and informative presentation you did for our team, our collective teams tonight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll see you in Charleston.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to get a good dose of LifeVantage positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. We so appreciate you with your time, your expertise, your wisdom, and some of the pearls, and even some of the little how-to advice about when to take, how to take, all those kind of things. So appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you in Charleston.
All right.
So with that, we'll sign off for another week, and we'll we'll post about next Thursday night's call, which will probably be from South Carolina.
All right.
Right? So with that, we'll go ahead and end the call, and we'll see you in a week.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Good night.